So if you're on a TTC journey like me, we all know that we spend way too much money on pregnancy tests and they are so expensive. So I wanted to share with you guys this test that I found on Amazon. It's called Wondfo, and I actually learned about it by watching, I don't remember the names, but it was like 2 YouTube channels that I've been watching, and they mentioned the name Wondfo, and I had never heard of it before. And even when I researched pregnancy tests or the most sensitive pregnancy tests on Google, all that ever came up was first response. And so I heard this name and I was curious and I looked it up, and I think it's the next best thing to first response, because I've heard first response can track as early as 6 of the ml of HCG tests, and these tests track 10, and I think that is super low. This is an early result 6 days sooner test, so it's literally just like first response, maybe a tiny bit less sensitive, but I think for the price it's amazing. So I found these on Amazon, $16.49 for 50 tests, and so they send me 2 boxes, 25 each. That comes out to like 33 cents per test. Compared to first response, I've paid as much as $18.99 for a 3-pack of first response, and that's just, I think, ridiculous, especially when you're on a TTC journey and you're constantly taking tests over and over. I've tried PregMate off Amazon, did not like those at all. I bought 100 count box of PregMate. It was the cheapest by far, PregMate, but it only tracks 25 of the ml of HCG hormone, so they're not as sensitive. And I got tons of indent lines, I got tons of evaporation lines with PregMate, and I also noticed a lot of the actual tests had like little nicks and scratches, almost like they were damaged or something. So I just did not like those, and I won't be ordering those again. But I'm hoping to have a good experience with this one because it's so cheap, 33 cents a test. Like, you can't beat that, and for it to be so sensitive. So I am not starting to test yet. I haven't even started my ovulation for this cycle 18 yet, but I am going to take one of these just because I'm curious to see if it has bad evap lines, or sometimes I like to take a test when I know I'm not pregnant, and if it does have an evap line, I can use that evap line to compare it to the tests when I'm actually testing for pregnancy, so I can see where to expect to see the line. So I'm going to take one of these just to see. I have 50 of them, so I got plenty to work with, and I still got tons of tests left for my last cycle that I haven't used. I have some first response, some clear blue, and some of the Equate brand of the digital. So I am all set on tests for cycle 18. Excited to start trying this cycle, because if you watched my last video, we are planning on getting an HSG test after this cycle, or at least starting the process of doing that. So we're really rooting for this cycle, that this cycle's it and we don't have to go through all that process. So I'm going to show you the results of my obvious negative test. It's going to be negative, but I just want to like let it dry out and see if I get an evap line. And just, I don't know, like, I think it's great that I found this brand, and not a lot of people know about it because I only heard 2 YouTube people mention this name, Wondfo. I had never heard about it before. I'm not sure where these are from. They're from China. Yeah, made in China, which most tests are made in China. Distributed by Wondfo USA. These expire in 2022. So the instructions for these is similar to any other ones. Dip it for 5 seconds, lay it flat, wait for 5 minutes. Don't read the results after 10 minutes. So that's what they look like inside. It's just a plain strip. So they are super thin, but I think for the price, it's still worth it. I know some people like the wider strip because it's easier to see, but I'm going to go ahead and test this out with my, it's not even first morning urine right now, but I know that I'm not pregnant because my ovulation hasn't started yet. I'm just curious to see how it works. So I'll show you guys the results after it starts drying up a little bit and see if it has evaporation lines. And I'm just going to keep it for reference for when I do start testing for pregnancy. Alright, I started my timer a little bit before or after I dipped the test, so it should have been about 5 minutes now. And I'm going to look at the test. There was definitely no sign of a line, no evap after 5 minutes. So that's a good sign. The control line is nice and dark. And you can see, if you look on the side of it, where the pink dye has run through. And I do not see any type of, like, you know how in first response I was starting to get the little pink edges on the sides where it would start drying. I don't see any sign of that, so I'm quite relieved because of that, because I really don't want to go through what I went through for cycle 17, where I thought it was the formation of a line and it wasn't. This is completely stark white, negative, no indent line, no shadow line, no nothing. So I'm gonna let it dry completely, and I'm gonna keep it for reference, because this is the test that I will be using to compare my test when I actually start pregnancy testing. So if you're looking for a more affordable option, obviously I'm not sponsored by anything. My channel is so small and brand new. But if you're like me and you like taking a lot of tests and it's just breaking the bank at this point, try these out. Or if you've already tried these out and you did end up pregnant, I would love to know when these detected your pregnancy, like what DPO, because there's just not a lot of information out there on these tests on YouTube, so I would love to know that. And I hope this helps you guys save a little bit of money, because I know pregnancy tests are expensive and they don't need to be. So I'll see you guys in the next video, and good luck to all you TTC mamas.